Good morning, students. So today I'm going to show you how to make fruit crumble, and this will be one of your 3 practical lessons. So if you're at school, you will be making this with me in the kitchen. If you're at home and you're working from home, then please make sure that you have the permission of an adult to cook this in your kitchen, and also make sure that there is an adult with you supervising. Okay, so I'm going to talk you through the ingredients that you need and also the equipment. So I'll just move my camera down so you can see the desk and you'll be able to see the equipment and the ingredients that we're going to use today. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to need is a bowl, and that's to mix your butter and your flour in. And we're going to use the rubbing in method to make breadcrumbs, which is the crumble topping. You'll also need a couple of spoons. And you're also going to need an oven-proof dish to make your crumble in. In terms of ingredients, you are going to need 120 grams of plain flour, 60 grams of butter or baking block, and this needs to be hard so you can actually rub it into the flour, so please don't use the soft margarine. And then you're also going to need 60 grams of sugar. This can be caster sugar, granulated sugar, light brown sugar, it doesn't really matter. And then you need your fruit base. So I've just got some tinned peaches, and I've also got some frozen raspberries that I'm going to use. Okay, so now you've got your ingredients and your equipment ready, I'm going to show you how to do the rubbing in method. And this is where we make breadcrumbs by rubbing in the butter with the flour. And you need to do this to make sure that you don't get lumps of butter that's just going to simply melt on top of your crumble. So it's really important to make sure that your breadcrumbs are really small. So I'll move the camera down and I'll demonstrate exactly what we're doing. But first of all, please make sure you wash your hands. And don't forget to put an apron on. Okay, so I've got my bowl, and into the bowl I'm going to put my flour and also my butter. Okay. And then with my fingers, just this part of your fingertips, not the palms, this part of your fingertips, because it's the coldest part of your hand, you're going to just squish this butter into the flour. You can cut the butter up into small cubes if you want first, or just simply break it up with your fingers. And what we're actually going to do is just try and coat all of that flour whilst breaking it up initially into small pieces. Okay. Now then, what you need to do is create your hands a bit like diggers and pick up a little bit and just move it through your fingers like this, squashing that butter, but also just letting it fall into the flour. And it's going to take you a couple of minutes to do this. So I'm going to let the video run, but you may need a little longer. So please feel free to pause the video as you need to. You should start to see that those lumps are getting smaller. And if you want to find the lumps, just take your bowl, give it a little shake, and they'll come to the top. Okay. So keep going with it, and as you can see, my palms, I've got very little ingredient on my palms, and I'm just literally using my fingers to just break it apart. We're not tickling it like this, that's not going to do anything. You really do need to use your thumbs to move those ingredients across your fingers. Try and keep it in the bowl. And then when you've got smaller breadcrumbs like that, if you've got a few small lumps, you can just put them in between your fingers and just roll it in a rotation movement like this. And I find that this breaks up any smaller lumps that you have. Give the bowl a little shake again, and those bigger lumps will come to the top, so you can work those through like that. Okay. The next thing to do is to add your sugar. So if you haven't quite finished at this stage, just pause the video and then start it again. So pop the sugar in, and I'm just going to give that a mix round with my fingers. And that is our crumble topping. The next thing we need to do is just pop our fruit into the bowl. Okay, you can use your fingers for this, absolutely fine. You're just going to put that crumble topping on the top anyway. So don't worry if you've got a bit of crumble on your fingers. And then we're going to also put our raspberries in the bowl too. These are still a bit frozen. You can use them from frozen, it's not a problem. The other thing I forgot to tell you to do is pop your oven on at 180 degrees. So that's 180 degrees Celsius. Okay. And just let it warm up before it goes in. I'm going to pop mine on now. Okay, once you've done that, you might want to wash your hands. Give them a little wipe if you want. Or you can just pop your crumble topping on the top. And you want to evenly space this out. Okay, so if you've got a huge dish and you're making for like a family of 4 to 6, you might want to double up these ingredients. Okay, so you've got your crumble made now. Please use oven gloves to safely use the oven and make sure that the oven has come to temperature. So that basically means leaving it on about 5 to 10 minutes until the little light on the front of the oven switches off. I like to put this on a baking tray because it's just easier to lift in and out of the oven. Keep it in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes until the top is golden brown. Leave it to cool for a few minutes because it will be piping hot, and serve with custard cream or maybe some ice cream. Happy cooking!